Pokemon GO's Fire and Ice Hatch Day featuring Smoochum, Magby, and Larvesta, yes, you heard me right, is around the corner. This is your best chance to hatch a Shundo. We've also found a method where you only need to walk 200 meters per egg. Let's get straight into the calendar, and as you can see guys, this Fire and Ice Hatch Day will be taking place this coming Saturday, and it's going to be starting at 11 a.m. to 5 p.m, so a full 6 hours. What this Fire and Ice Hatch Day is a featured event of 2-kilometer eggs, which will only be hatching Magby as well as Smoochum. Both of those Pokemon will be coming with a 1 in 10 shiny rate as well. That being said, it has been listed that in 5-kilometer eggs, we may be able to see Larvesta potentially coming with the shiny boost as well. That shiny boost is not confirmed though. After I go through the bonuses, I'm going to show you the method to hatch these eggs as quickly as possible. First and foremost, we have a really good bonus to start off here. It's going to be 2 times hatch candy for hatching these Pokemon, and that's great for something like Larvesta, because as we know, Larvesta, to evolve into Volcarona, you need 400 candies. Not a lot of people have that, so it's a great opportunity to try and hatch that Pokemon because you're getting double the candy. It's going to be half egg hatch distance for all trainers. The next bonus is that in the 6-hour time frame, 2-kilometer eggs are going to have a much higher drop rate from gyms as well as Pokestops, and like we said a little while ago, it is confirmed that Smoochum as well as Magby will have 1 in 10 shiny odds. Both of those shinies in my opinion are stunning. But how do we make egg hatching a lot easier on this day? I want you guys to remember that while this event is taking place, we are still going to be in the middle of that summer marathon event. If you purchase the deluxe version of the Go Pass connected to that event, at tier 2, which is at rank 20, you're going to get quarter egg hatch distance. So this is actually going to replace the half egg hatch distance on this day. But there's a way to further this even more, especially if you are considering using super incubators. A lot of people did this method on Riolu Hatch Day. It really does showcase the quality, but the extremely helpful feature of community ambassador meetups. Guys, if you have this quarter egg hatch distance coming from the Summer Marathon Go Pass, this could be extended even further, because with a community ambassador meetup and you check into one of these events, you're going to be getting an extra 25% less incubator distance on top of that quarter egg hatch distance. So they're going to stack together, which now means a 2-kilometer egg in a regular incubator, you're only going to have to walk between 300 and 400 meters. However, if you hatch a 2-kilometer egg in a super incubator, guys, you're only going to have to walk in and around 200 meters per egg. If we look at super incubators with a 5-kilometer egg to potentially hatch that Larvesta, guys, you're only going to have to walk 600 meters. And if you're potentially looking at 7-kilometer eggs with the super incubator with all the stacked bonuses, you're only going to have to walk 900 meters. This is incredibly underrated, and to be honest, this is a perfect day to do this because it's one of your best chances to hatch a Shundo. Let me explain why. On hatch days, whenever you hatch an egg, even outside of this event, the base floor is going to be 10-10-10, just like it is for raids or from field research. But the fact that the shiny odds are confirmed to be 1 in 10, this is officially your best chance at hatching a Shundo and your best chance at actually getting a Shundo in the game for some time. Actually, since Riolu Hatch Day. If we just show you the math very quickly, your odds at hatching a Hundo on this day is going to be about 1 in 216. Now, if we take those 1 in 216 Hundo odds and we multiply them as well with the 1 in 10 shiny odds, it means that we have now a 1 in 2160 chance to hatch ourselves a Shundo. Those might not seem like great odds, but to be honest, if you're going to be blowing through maybe 100 eggs on this day, that's pretty much 100 chances at that reroll. Depending on what you want and what your targets are in the game, that could be very, very worth it for you. There are a couple of ways to get some free incubators on this day. First and foremost, Pokemon Go is giving us a free timed research on this day where it's all going to reward us with 1 incubator. On top of that, it doesn't end there. Remember that the August Go Pass has also gone live, which means at the end of that free track, you are going to get an encounter with Latias, but if you purchase the deluxe version, you're going to get a lucky trinket as well. But the other thing that they've done and connected to this Go Pass is going to be 1 free incubator if you did purchase the deluxe per day. So on this day as well, there's another free incubator you could use. If you're looking to buy incubators, please consider not buying singles of them. You want to be looking at bundles, particularly in the store or in the web store. Sometimes there are great bundles that you could really take advantage of to pretty much get more bang for your buck. Hold off until the event day or just before the event day and keep checking the item shop. Let's bring the focus back to our featured Hatch Day Pokemon, Smoochum as well as Magby. We've already showcased the shinies and they are stunning. But if you guys want to know the 100% IVs when hatching these Pokemon, any Magby you hatch with a 756 CP is going to be a guaranteed Hundo, and on Smoochum's side of things, the guaranteed Hundo there is going to be 738 CP. Screenshot these now if you want to remember. The next thing I want to point out is a hidden tip when it comes to baby Pokemon. Before you evolve Smoochum or any other baby Pokemon, you should be double moving it then, because the cost to double move a baby Pokemon is considerably less. It only costs you 10,000 Stardust, but on a Pokemon like Magmar, after it evolves from Magby, for example, it's going to cost you 75,000 Stardust to double move that Pokemon. It's very important to remember that on these hatch days. If you get a good baby Pokemon, double move it then before it evolves. How good are these baby Pokemon though, especially when they evolve? Let's start off with Magby going into Magmar and eventually into Magmortar. Please remember to evolve Magmar into Magmortar, you are going to need a Sinnoh Stone. You can get Sinnoh Stones via various methods. You can get it through GBL rewards, you can get it through defeating Team Rocket leaders, you can also get it via your 7-day streaks. There are a couple of ways to get Sinnoh Stones, and you always want to keep about 5 to 10 in your bag just in case a moment like this comes along where maybe you hatched a Shundo Magby and you really wanted that Shundo Magmortar. That would be incredible. But how good is Magmortar in the game right now? Well guys, as a fire type raid attacker, because it is a pure fire type, it's the 53rd best in the game, so it's a decent budget option, but definitely not the best. And in the Go Battle League, this is an absolute no-go. It is horrible in all 3 of the leagues. And that's a little bit surprising, because if we have a look at its base stats, it has a max CP of 3451, but look at that attack stat of 247. I thought this would have served this Pokemon a lot better, but I think what really lets it down if we have a look at its defensive stat and HP stat, both sitting below 190, which is below average, and I think that's what's really hurting this Pokemon. That being said, D-Max Magmar was just released in the game this week, which is very interesting. D-Max Magmar can go into D-Max Magmortar, and D-Max Magmortar is currently one of the best budget fire-type max attackers in the game right now. The top 3 are all G-Max and legendary Pokemon. We have Moltres in there, G-Max Charizard, and G-Max Cinderace. Not the easiest to get, but as a budget option, something like a D-Max Flareon or D-Max Magmortar is going to serve you very well. How good is Smoochum going into Jinx? A lot of trainers don't actually know this, but Smoochum is a dual type Pokemon. It's not just an ice type, it's an ice and psychic type Pokemon. But how good is Jinx in Pokemon Go, at least in 2026? It has a max CP of 2888, which isn't a great start, a decent attack stat of 223, but a very poor defensive stat and HP stat sitting at 151 and 163 respectively. Because this is a Kanto Pokemon, over time it's just getting beaten out by much better ice type specifically. As we know, the psychic type isn't the best raid attacking type because it's not doing a lot of super effective damage to a lot of raid bosses. But as an ice type attacker, it's still ranked in the top 50, which I think is relatively impressive, currently sitting in the 45th spot. As a psychic type attacker, it's barely breaking to the top 100 in the 112th spot, and in both the Great League and the Ultra League, it's a no-go. This is very much a dex filler. That being said, the shiny Jinx, I actually got one on our Go With Us account during GoFest. It is a beautiful shiny, but other than a dex filler, not much utility. But we also know that Larvesta could be hatching from 5km eggs, so how good is Larvesta once it evolves into Volcarona using 400 candies? Volcarona is a fire and bug type Pokemon. It has a max CP of 4106, an attacking stat of 264, which is really good, a defense of 189, and a stamina of 198. These stats are the best by miles of all 3. As a bug type attacker, it's currently the 6th best in the game, and as a fire type attacker, it's currently in the 26th spot. This is definitely the best target of the day, and to be honest, that shiny Larvesta going into Volcarona could be amazing to get if you didn't have it already. I just realized now that I didn't list 100% IVs for Larvesta. If you do hatch this Pokemon, it's quite an easy one to remember. At 855 CP, if you hatch this Pokemon with the CP, it is a guaranteed hundo. I'm not sure though if this Pokemon is also taking on a 1 in 10 shiny odds. Let's hope it does. This day is featuring 2km eggs and a little bit of 5km eggs with that Larvesta. It doesn't mean that you guys need to go after that egg pool. There are other egg pools that I would also recommend going after. If you didn't know, the 7km egg pool are going to be hatching these Pokemon on screen right now. There's 2 or 3 Pokemon here I want you guys to go after. The first one is going to be Galarian Corsola. You're not going to get the optimal IV set because you would need a 0-15-15, but you can maybe trade this with a friend that's not a great friend yet, so you can get a low attack, high defense, high stamina if you're very lucky. But Galarian Corsola right now is currently breaking to the top 20 in the Great League. The other Pokemon I want to highlight that's going to be in this egg pool, but it's also potentially going to be in the wild as well, is going to be Galarian Darumaka, which of course can go into Galarian Darmanitan. Galarian Darmanitan right now in the ice type category is currently the 13th best ice type attacker in the game, but please remember that Galarian Darmanitan has a Zen mode, which will be coming to the game at some point. Galarian Darmanitan in its Zen mode is one of the only Pokemon in the Pokemon universe that shares a fire and ice typing. This is definitely going to be a very good raid attacking Pokemon as well, so try and get yourself a hundo so you can get that Pokemon when it does come out. But everyone is forgetting the 12km egg trick. What do I mean by this? Guys, whenever a hatch day comes around, It's such a great opportunity before the event starts to get yourself as many 12 kilometer eggs as possible. As you can see right now, my bag is empty because I've emptied all the other eggs. I'm waiting for this hatch day, but in the meantime, I'm trying to fill up as many 12Ks as possible. The reason why you want to do this is that the 12 kilometer egg pool is on screen right now. You could potentially be going after the Varoom, which of course is a new shiny of this year. But the other thing I would go for is going to be the Stardust yields. If you guys didn't know, 12 kilometer eggs yield you the most Stardust per hatch. Now imagine if you hatched 12 kilometer eggs on a star piece to really maximize the Stardust yield. We're talking between 70 and 100,000 Stardust per hatch. As you can see on screen right now, if you blow through these egg hatches, just look at the Stardust stacking up. Trust me guys, that is one thing you do not want to overlook. So definitely a potential of Stardust gains, but please remember guys as well, when it comes to leveling up to level 80 in Pokemon Go, at level 79, you need to hatch 100 eggs. This is the perfect day to do this because with our method to really shorten the egg distance of hatching these eggs, it's going to be a lot easier to chip away at that. The other thing about level 80 is that to acquire it, you need to get 50 platinum medals. This is actually the real grind, not so much the XP. We've had really good XP events recently where I'm sure a lot of people have upgraded their account. But when it comes to the medal grind, there is one medal that's a clear standout that's very easy to chip away at, and it's not easy to do, which is going to be the breeder medal. Requires you to hatch 2,500 eggs. If you are not an advanced player or if you're more of a regular player, this can take a long time to complete. Blowing through a whole bunch of eggs chips away at this beautifully on this day. The other medals you could look at are going to be your Kindler medal as well as your Skier medal. Both of these require you to catch 2,500 fire type Pokemon or ice type Pokemon. Every single Pokemon you hatch, either of Magby or Smoochum, is going to chip away at this medal too. And I would definitely walk in straight lines. That's very important to note during this event. Don't be walking in like a rectangular park or in a circle park. You want to be walking straight distances because the way the game works is that over a straight distance, it's going to count far more accurately how much distance you've actually traveled. What's really key with this as well is to turn on Adventure Sync. It's going to be your most optimized way for the game to count distance even when your app is closed. Like we said at the beginning of this video as well, we are in the middle of that summer marathon event. Remember that on this specific day in the wild, shiny Ponyta as well as shiny Snover are going to be coming with shiny boosts in the wild as well. Pop those incenses, pop those daily adventure incenses as well. Try and get as many spawns going so you can chip away at these shinies too. Snover can go into Abomasnow, which has a mega, which is currently the 9th best ice type mega in the game. And even on Ponyta's side, going into Rapidash in the Great League and Ultra League, that Pokemon really has some play as well in certain metas. What we've actually already done for all of you guys is done a full breakdown of that summer marathon event and what you could be focusing on alongside this hatch day as well before it even happens, and of course while it's happening, as we've just explained. I'm going to leave it above me right now. Also, if you guys want to see everything going on in Pokemon Go this week, please check it out above me here. And of course, once you've watched those videos, I've also made another video how you can really upgrade your account in August. And that right now is pumping. You guys are really appreciating that video because we list everything going on in the month of August and how you guys can maximize. I cannot tell you enough how much I appreciate your support. I say it every single week. The more you hit that like button, the more you hit that subscribe button, it's really helping us grow. And to be honest, guys, we just cannot do it without you. And the numbers over the last month or two have been huge. We really appreciate from the bottom of our hearts you being here. Give us all the watch time you can. We appreciate you, love you, go with us, and you know you'll catch us on the next one, baby.